Okay, so here we are at the summer palace of Peter the Great. He decided to build this palace to demonstrate his commitment to developing Admiralty Island. So he wanted the ideal home, but he preferred the rather simple Dutch Baroque style. So he again hired Domenico Trezzini, who had previously worked a little bit on the garden, because Peter knew how well that Trezzini had mastered the Dutch Baroque style. But nevertheless, Peter insisted that it be, quote, a model house for eminent people. So it's certainly his tribute to Dutch Baroque. So Trezzini began constructing the palace, which has 2 stories, in 1710. It's located on the banks where the Fontanka meets the Niva, and it's too bad that it no longer has a small landing for boats. So I think it'd be kind of cool if you could come here by boat and then go inside, but that's no longer the case. It features a 4-sloped roofing, and it's decorated with an ornament frieze, rustications at the corners, and as you can see, it has a lot of allegoric tales all over the sides of the buildings. And this was done by the German Schluter, and many of these were done to celebrate Peter's victories in the Great Northern War against Sweden. The enfilade has painted ceilings that were done by the artist Giselle, as well as others. It has carved oak panels, and that were added in 1721, and tiled furnaces. So Peter lived on the bottom floor, the first floor, which we won't be able to see, but inside it was decorated according to maritime themes. And one particular room served as his workshop and his meteorological observation post. And so once the palace was completed in 1714, it served along with an adjacent building as Peter's library and his, quote, collection of curiosities. But in 1718, the library was moved to Keken Palace. Members of the imperial family continued to live here even after Peter's death. By the 1740s, the palace was leased to high-ranking officials, but since the 1840s, it's become vacant. So again, like the Summer Garden, after Peter's death, it gradually lost its prestige, so to speak. Well, not completely, because it's still a beautiful building. And so during the beginning of the 20th century, exhibitions began to be erected there. And in 1934, the Soviets made the Summer Palace the Historical Memorial Museum, which basically was just dedicated to the daily life of Peter the Great. And it features some authentic belongings, and as well as clothing that Peter wore. And eventually the Soviet government ordered for the total reconstruction of the palace under the architect A.E. Hessen, and which involved a redesigning of the original 18th century interiors in the early 1960s.